Welcome to OreoOlives.com. As you know, Oreo and olives don't mix, but the abstract thought of putting those two words together has enlightened me to create a channel to discuss various topics. On today's episode, I want to talk about the 1% and their habits. And I know a lot of us wonder, at least I do and have always had, what do the 1% do that the other 99% don't? Now, interchangeably throughout this conversation, I'm going to be using the terms 1%, meaning for the wealthy, and then the 99% being for the non-wealthy. I'm just only going to go on those two categories. I'm not going to chop it up into 6 different blocks like the high net worth individuals and super high net worth individuals and all of that. So we're just going to keep it simple and straightforward. Now, when I'm talking about the 1%, I'm talking about the 1% of people that control resources that the other 99% of the people consume. And consumers being people paying for things that those who are in the 1% have created. So for an example of that, you can look at Jeff Bezos of Amazon. He created Amazon. He has this business, and pretty much Amazon delivers packages all over the world as people purchase on their marketplace. Warren Buffett in the 1%, and he's into investments and the financial atmosphere, but he owns ownership in different businesses that people consume or have services with. So he's more like financial and service oriented. And when you look at that, a lot of people tend to steer to, I want what they have, and how do they get to where they are? I want the money. But a lot of people don't realize is they never ask, what are the habits of the 1%? Because obviously they're doing something that the other 99% of people in the population are not doing. And after some research and reading, and I'm constantly always reading, this is the same way that people keep up with sports or their favorite activity or their favorite reality show. The same energy that you put towards that, the wealthy put the same energy towards these specific things. And this is not all of them. This is just some from what the research that I've did and the reading that I've done to figure it out. And one of the number one things that they do is they read a lot, and they can spend more than 50% of their day reading, and it could be literature on additional investments. Like for instance, when you look at Warren Buffett, he can read the 10K for like the stock reports and stuff like that about different companies and know what companies to invest in. He can read about like stuff like that. Jeff Bezos, for instance, he can spend time reading books on, let's say, maybe on like technology or business or just mental stimulation to stimulate the mind to get you thinking. Reading books that have constructive value. So where you would have many people reading books or love stories or love novels or romance novels or drama-filled books, fiction, nonfiction, whatever, people are going to read those kind of books because that is what they like, and it helps ease their mind from work. Where people who are trying to not only make more money, they're going to be reading books that's going to be have constructive value to their investments and their financial standing. So if they read books on stocks, they may read books on different companies or how something works. They're figuring out more ways to make even more money than what they currently have. So reading is therefore very important, and they're not reading any nonsense. They're reading things that is going to change the way how their money is and how far it can grow. Another thing they do is they exercise as well. They're taking the time away from work and they're really relaxing their mind. They're exercising and keeping their body healthy because they have to be healthy in order to still be here, obviously, to learn or to make even more money. So that is something very simple. And exercise doesn't mean you have to go to the gym and lift like 300 pounds in weight, but it can be like calisthenics. It can be walking, taking a brisk walk, and thinking and seeing something out there. Where a person who is wealthy could be in a neighborhood where they're walking down the street and see some empty real estate property, and to a normal person, we look at it and say, well, hey, that is an empty lot. To them, they're like, hey, this may be a perfect location for my next store, my next brick and mortar location. So the way that they look at things, the way that the 1%, the way that the 99% look at two totally different things in the exact same environment, think completely different, because they're thinking of venturing out or collaboration or mergers and acquisitions. They're looking at something completely different. Now, aside from exercising and everything, travel is also very important too, because that allows people to go to different places to not only have a vacation, but to actually see what's out there as well. Still checking out real estate if they're like into owning more than one type of property or more than one type of investment. Not every location is perfect, but the right one that's going to grow your business strategically is going to be different. So when you look at Amazon, if you notice that a lot of Amazons are located close to airports or close to airspaces, especially for their fulfillment centers, because that puts them in a great position to deliver packages at the absolute last minute. So the logistical operation of that aspect is what makes the change in their business, and being able to deliver like at the very last minute, like 12 a.m., at night, being able to drop packages off at the airport for them to make it to the next day, especially if they're delivering, overnight. So you can look at, for instance, when you look at the 2-day delivery or Prime option for Amazon, of course, how that works is the fulfillment centers, you have to look at the amount of miles that they're away from the airport. You can look at Walmart, and you notice that between every Walmart on the globe, a distribution center is strategically about 100 miles or so away, because that gives the trucks the time to actually get the equipment and the product on the truck to deliver it to the nearest Walmarts and stuff like that. So a normal person would just drive down the road and say, hey, bam, there's like a Walmart distribution center right here. But then in reality, you have to think about it, from a business perspective of this is where it's located at because of its proximity to other like stores. So when you think about just those few things and what the wealthy do, one other thing I want to make a very interesting point on is the wealthy do not waste their money on non-materialistic things. So don't confuse what entertainers and rappers and stuff like that do with their money and what the wealthy do with theirs, because the wealthy is definitely not buying like extremely expensive cars or more than one extremely expensive car. So the appearance of looking wealthy and being wealthy and not having to look at the appearance is two different things. And that's one thing I know for a fact that the wealthy does not do, because I met a guy, and I met both men and women who have been like billionaires or are billionaires. And when I saw the kind of vehicles that they drove, it really surprised me, because I was thinking that they would have something extremely expensive, and they did not. They did not waste their money on cars because it was not an asset. A vehicle is a liability. But to somebody who doesn't have money or who doesn't understand it, they would just go out and just buy, a very nice looking vehicle just to impress other people, so people can stand back and look and see what they're driving. But the wealthy invest their money in real estate and stocks and options and and they invest their money in things that's going to compound and grow their money over the course of time. And I never could understand why a person could need like 5 to 10 different cars. I never could understand that. You can look at someone, you all, and I kid you not, you can look at Warren Buffett, and through reading, you will understand that Warren Buffett still lives in the same residence that he's lived in for over 30-something years. House was only about $36,000 during that time. He still lives in it. Had, his early 2000 model Cadillac, still was driving it. Still had the Suburban, still driving it. His headquarters for his home office or his office space is small. It's not super immaculate, especially if you're looking at Omaha, Nebraska. This man could have anything that he wants. And I guarantee you, if you look at the ownership of what he has material-wise, physically, like the car, the house, the automobile, the office space, it's definitely looks less luxurious than people who are millionaires. Because millionaires, don't get me wrong, they have immediate money right then and there, and it will only last some generations. But billionaires and the 1% does not include the millionaires, in my perspective. The 1% of the people with the billions, they cannot spend that money in their lifetime. And these people are leaving their money to charity and not like their family to blow and spend, which I think is very smart, in leaving their money into something that's going to really benefit and grow their business. So when you look at, once again, the next time you're out, and I do this a lot, I see nice like vehicles. I'm like, man, that's a really nice vehicle. And that is it as far as it go. I still drive the same automobile that I first bought. This has got like over 300,000 miles on it. And I did a video on it. You can look back in the archives here and you can see that. And the thing is, I have no debt or note or owe anyone for a vehicle. And these people who had this amount of money, they don't even need to drive. They can pay somebody to drive them anywhere that they want to go. But they chose to not spend their money on stupid stuff. And I'm going to say stupid stuff because you can go back and look on the internet and look and see how people spend their money that got a little bit of money. You look at your millionaire pool, and then you tell me how they spend their money. And they can do whatever, however they want to do it. That's fine. It doesn't change how the way that I eat and sleep. But when you look at how millionaires spend, how billionaires spend, it's on two totally different levels. Because what you don't realize is the yachts and everything that the millionaires apparently be on, are rented from the billionaires. Because I was reading an article the one time, and it said, the planes and the yachts that the millionaires could not even pay the taxes on the upkeep of those products as what billionaires can, which makes sense because what they do is, like, for instance, say a rapper or an actress, and they're doing, let's say, like a video or something or a movie. They're renting this stuff to shoot that particular video. And so people who don't even have money like that will see that and they'll go out and buy the latest vehicle or latest car because that rapper or entertainer or actress has that vehicle. But then you don't know somebody's story of why they even got it in the first place. And so by starting early in life and knowing what you want to do in life and then flipping that and turning that into a lucrative business will allow you to make progress towards, like, becoming wealthy. In your eyes, a person could just want $1 million plus, and they will be perfectly like fine, and that's okay. Everybody's not going to make it to a billionaire status. There's always going to be very, very few billionaires, and there's going to be a whole lot of non-wealthy people, and that's just the way the world has to work, because the non-wealthy is going to end up having to work for the wealthy. I mean, that's just the way that it is. It's just the way how the world works. But let me know what you all think about that. I know it's kind of a longer topic, but it's one that I really enjoy talking about and getting people's different opinion on, because people learn and see different things, and they may not have realized some of the things that I said even existed. And so I'm just kind of just talking with you and just bringing this to you to let you know, just kind of get your thoughts and everything. Look forward to seeing the comments, and let me know what you think about this topic.